Hello, everyone. So good to be practicing yoga on this day. I'm recording this live on March 6th of 2021. And this feels a little bit like an anniversary celebration. So last year was my first time teaching yoga on the internet. And, um, from March of 2020 to now has been an interesting time for all of us. And so it's good to be with you today and keep sharing these practices that sustain us and restore us and help us along the way. So this is a practice for any day, any time of any day. So feeling and balancing the energies in the body is what this class is about. And hopefully it'll be supportive for you. So, you can just take bits and pieces of it and put them into your routine, and then leave other ones for another day or another time. So let's begin with a little mini sit, just gathering ourselves into this time and space. And inviting you to settle in the way that you know how, perhaps stretching up and relaxing down, inviting in any amount of purposeful breathing that feels right in your body today. And inviting you now to look back over the last few minutes, or even extending to the last few hours before you arrived here at your practice. Imagining yourself deciding to practice at a certain point in your day. And then the activities that you moved through before arriving here. Be noticing any interactions with others, remembering the fulfilling of commitments, perhaps. Imagining the ways in which you were able to care for yourself or someone else. And then remembering setting up your device and finding the link or finding the class, the channel, gathering your props and pressing play or clicking the link and noticing the energies of all of that. What is the energy of caring for yourself or someone else? What does it feel like? And what is the energy of fulfilling commitments? What does that feel like in your body? Noticing the energy of setting up your technology that allows you to practice with this class in particular. What does that feel like in the body? And then bringing yourself to right here, right now. Noticing how your body is resting on your supports. And inviting your awareness to be present to the sensations of resting, of allowing your body to rest in one place. Just providing yourself this space to transition from the energy of getting to your practice to the energy of being in your practice. And simply welcoming yourself into this space, and into the present. And I'd like to offer you a short reading. You're welcome to remain in your centering in your meditation, your mini sit here, or you're welcome to open your eyes and move and breathe in ways that feel good. This reading is from a book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. This is by Charlie Mackesy. It's a beautiful book of wisdom and illustration. So on this particular page, the boy asks the horse a question. They're staring at a pond with two swans. How do they look so together and perfect? Asked the boy. There's a lot of frantic paddling going on beneath, said the horse. I just love the honesty of that. The honesty in the question, that striving after the answer. How do they and how do we do that? Look like we have it all together and that everything's perfect. There's an honesty in that, in admitting wanting to know that, so that maybe we can achieve that. And then the horse, just pointing out a fact, that we might interpret as wisdom, but the horse is just like, this is just what's true. And I love the honesty of that. And I would like to provide all of us the space to shine the light of that honesty on our yoga practice. Whatever yoga means for you, if it's a lot of your focus on meditation, or a lot of your focus is on asana or posture practice, or maybe your focus is concentration or breathing practice, or focus on the way you move through the world, your behaviors with yourself and with others. Yoga is so big. So just bringing the light of that honesty onto our yoga practice and kind of just pointing out what's true. Like, it's possible that we are wondering, how do we do the perfect pose? How do we do the perfect asana? Why is it that other person seems to somehow do their practice every single day? So the horse might say, quite honestly, well, there's a lot of frantic paddling going on around or underneath the surface of what we can see, with our eyes. So just inviting us into a space in which we can look a little bit deeper, at maybe our external surroundings, other people and circumstances, as well as our own, kind of what are we hiding from ourselves about the way we move through the world. So when we move through our yoga practice today, this yoga practice on the mat, as people say, is formal. And so we get a chance to practice this light of honesty in a formal way, in the privacy of our own home, to see what that's like, to be that kindly honest. There was no bitterness or resentment or animosity in either the boy's question or the horse's answer. So there was this sort of curiosity rather than judgment happening. So just a lot of curiosity. And so my invitation to you and to myself today is to bring that level of curiosity and kindness and compassion, self-empathy, into the way we move through these yoga practices today. And having this dedicated time to formally do that, the hope is that will allow us to bring even just a tiny bit into our daily life off the mat and see what that kind, curious, honesty might look like in the rest of our lives, when we're not just having that time of asana or meditation, but in interactions with other people and the way we interact with ourselves as we move through our own tasks and activities. So I'll read that one more time. How do they look so together and perfect? Asked the boy. There's a lot of frantic paddling going on beneath, said the horse. On the very next page, the boy is resting on a branch with the mole. And the mole says, the greatest illusion is that life should be perfect. And I don't know how this happens to us, but it does. And maybe there's no fault, there's no need to put blame anywhere for why this happens to us. But I think the beauty is that once we realize this illusion, there's a spot that opens up in which we can move toward a sense of freedom in not having to reach any definition of perfection or what perfect might mean. And here's the picture. And the author does note on the bottom that his dog walked over this page as he was creating it, and so there are paw prints. So the picture itself isn't perfect, and he published it anyway, and I love that. So remembering that there's no perfect in your yoga pose, and there's no perfect in your yoga meditation, there's no perfect in the yoga breathing, and so this opens up a space for us to be wholly human. Off camera, I have a little pile of leaves and dirt and dried mud. This back door that you can see in my picture here is the entrance to where we take the dog out all the time. And so before I teach from this space, I usually sweep up, or I try to remember to sweep up. And I did that late today. And so there's a pile of nature items over there in the corner that you can't see. And then if we practice this enough, this letting go of perfection, then there's this really interesting thing that might happen sometimes, which is that whatever is actually perfect. I can enjoy the fact that there's a pile of dirt off screen at the side of the porch because we have this beautiful puppy dog in our house and the kids love it, so that there's a little, if we want to talk about perfection, then maybe there's perfection in that, or we can let go of perfection all the way and just be sweetly content with whatever is in the moment, to a certain degree. Thank you so much for exploring that with me today. And thank you for your willingness to bring this into your yoga practice. I'm really excited. We'll just be moving through, in the spirit of predictability, I'll just say now that we'll just be moving through the kinds of practices that you're used to doing with me if you've practiced with me before. So a lot of it will probably feel really familiar, but we'll just have this new light on the practice. And you can think of your awareness as a light. Sometimes our awareness is spoken about as a spotlight. And the spotlight metaphor feels a little bit intense for me around the edges. So sometimes I just say the light of attention, or the light of awareness, can be present and illuminate whatever it is that we might want to or need to or be able to know in that moment, to any degree. Right? So I appreciate your willingness to try this out today and see how it goes. So from here, I will be stepping back to my mat, and we'll do some, again, in the spirit of knowing what's coming, we'll do some warming up on the floor. So in a reclined position on the back, hips and legs, and full body, and some twisting, and then we'll come up to standing, and we'll move through a few sort of traditional, well-known standing postures, but with this new light of attention in which we'll be looking for energy, so noticing the energy of our body, what's present, noticing that with compassion, like, of course that's present here because of, what I just remembered having done in the preceding hours and moments before settling onto my mat. And then once we notice the energy that's present, just feeling into it for as much as we're able. And then choosing kind of what practice would support a balancing of energy. So maybe a sustaining of what's present, or an uplifting, or a grounding of what's present, and any mixture of those things. And then, of course, we'll end with relaxation, as we always do, and perhaps closing out with a short gratitude meditation. Okay, so I'll step back toward my mat. You make yourself comfortable lying down. And as you arrive in this new relationship to gravity, notice what it feels like. So there's first a noticing of the energies that are present. I'm noticing the energy of letting go. So when I shift from seated to lying down, there's an obvious sensation of a shifting of my body weight in relation to gravity. So just notice if that's present for you. And then take a deep breath if you haven't yet, or maybe 2 deep breaths. And notice the energy of your inhalation, what that feels like. And then notice the energy of your exhalation and what that feels like. Take one more purposeful breath, as comfortably deep as you like, and then allow the breath to take its natural rhythm. And so there's first a noticing of the energy that, yes, there is energy present here. And then there's a space of feeling the energy. So what does the energy feel like here? And you might be feeling like noticing the whole body at once. And also that might feel like too much. So maybe just noticing one particular area of the body. So maybe the head, or just the chest, or bringing the light of your attention just to the torso, or the lower torso at the belly. So these areas where you might feel the breath. Feeling the breath in the head might be feeling the breath at the nose or the mouth. Feeling the breath at the chest and the belly. Just noticing how your body moves because you are breathing. And what energies are present here. So it might be possible to notice an uplifting during an inhalation, or a sense of expansion. And it's also possible to notice on the exhalation some sense of letting go or release. It might just show up as a spontaneous relaxation of certain muscles in your body. Certain muscles activate to bring in the breath, so you might feel that activation energy as you inhale. And then muscles relax, to let the breath out. So that might have a certain energetic feeling or quality to it. So count one more of your natural breaths coming in and going out. And then invite yourself to take a deep breath on purpose, just as deep as you like. Noticing the energy and the feeling of the energy. And when you release, noticing the energy and the feeling of it. And so our focus was on the head, the chest, and the lower belly and the torso. So in the central area of the body. And now I'm inviting you to let your awareness broaden. So the light of your awareness, if it were a circle, expanding in all directions then and getting bigger and taking in your whole body. So noticing your arms and legs, your hands and feet, and bringing in some movement. So wiggling a little bit. And then let's marry this movement to the breath. So with your next inhalation, to any degree that feels right, opening your hands to the back of the hands, press into the floor. And your chest might open a little bit, and maybe your pelvic bowl tips forward toward the feet a little bit as you inhale. And as you exhale, letting all of that relax. So the chest rests, the curve of the lower back rests, and the hands can curl back in toward the center of the palm. Let's try that for 3 more rounds of breath. Breathing in, letting there be expansion in the chest, the arms, hands, pelvic bowl. Exhale, letting there be any amount of rest and ease. Or maybe there's a sense of wanting to press the feet into the ground. I'm feeling that, which is why I'm saying it. So as you exhale, you might feel that you want to press the lower back into the floor so that the pelvic bowl tips back toward the head and the feet press the ground. That is totally cool if you want to try that. 2 more rounds of breath, breathing in and tipping the pelvic bowl forward, opening the chest, arms, hands. Exhale, letting things rest or pressing the feet into the ground a bit and tipping the pelvic bowl toward the head or the tail toward the sky. Inhale and exhale. And then settling back at neutral or what feels like center to you and taking time to let your body breathe a round of breath. Noticing, then feeling. And perhaps those 2 steps might start to come together and be one. The noticing and the feeling happen simultaneously. And as you're ready to continue the practice of expanding our movement, and bringing a knee into the chest and hugging it in to any degree that feels comfortable in your hip, and perhaps making a little bit of a circle, semicircle, opening the knee out past the shoulder and then back in towards center. Or making full circles if that feels just right for you today. So my other knee wants to drop out to the side, and I'm going to let that because it feels okay in my body, and you can do that too. Counting 1 more breath for yourself, then release that foot to the ground and take up the other side as you're ready. So I noticed a click in my hip there. You might be noticing some clicking and some sensation. And notice if there's any particular quality of energy as you move into the second side. Noticing if there's a sense for kind of wanting the sides of the body to be the same. Noticing if they're not and what that feels like. And encouraging yourself to breathe with a sense of easiness. Like there's no wrong or right way to breathe. And the hope is that we're just encouraging the breath to continue. And then count yourself 1 more breath in this activity before releasing and letting the sole of that foot return to the ground. My body spontaneously took a breath here. Notice if that's true for you or if that sounds like it might be nice, taking a spontaneous breath on purpose. Which is a paradox. And then let's move a little bit more deeply or create space for there to be more depth of stretch around the hips if you like. Bringing 1 knee up toward the chest and then extending that heel toward the ceiling or the sky to any degree that feels sweet in the back of your leg. And then painting a circle on the ceiling with the sole of your foot. And noticing if there's any sensation in the hip. And it's okay if there's not. And then going in the other direction. Continuing to breathe and feel or sense physical sensation. Settle back at center when you're ready and allow yourself to point and flex or roll the ankle, whatever way feels good, and wiggle the toes. Noticing any amount of cracking or popping that might be there, and if there's any accompanying sensations. And then coming back to a flexed foot or letting the heel press the ceiling and the toes come down toward you. Notice if it feels okay to angle the foot out toward the side, away from the midline of your body. Noticing any sensations along the outside of your leg. And if that feels okay, staying there for a breath. And it's okay if it doesn't feel okay, just bringing that angle back to what feels comfortable. And then as you're ready, crossing the ankle over the opposite thigh and inviting the knee of the leg that's crossed over to move away from your shoulder, just with the power of the muscles in that leg around the hip. And then inviting any amount of rocking the legs side to side, which can also feel like a twist. It is a twist in your lower abdomen. Seeing what that's like. Noticing sensation around the hip of the leg that's crossed over, or sensation anywhere it arises or presents itself. And bringing that curiosity into this practice. Noticing what's here. And if you like to feel maybe a little bit of an increase in sensation, you're welcome to lift your bottom foot from the ground and bring that whole shape of the legs closer to your torso. In my last class with my teacher, she mentioned the legs as a complex. And I really like that, this shape as a complex. It really is the human body. Beautiful, beautiful work of art. And then allowing any rocking here that feels right, or even creating circles. So as if you were going to paint a circle on the side wall with the foot of the leg that's crossed over. Noticing how that feels in one direction and then in the opposite direction. Of course, none of this is necessary for you to do the practice of being curious. You can keep that bottom foot on the ground and allow the rocking side to side. So when you're ready, release that complex of the legs, very gently uncross. And if it feels right to extend that one more time, try that, see how it feels. And then bring the leg, float it back down to the ground, either straight or bent. And then as you inhale, release your arms from your sides and reach them up overhead to the degree that feels okay in your shoulders. And stretching in a way that feels just right for you. As you exhale, bring the arms back down if you wish. The soles of both feet coming to the ground so that we can prep for the second side. And the preparation for the second side means just taking a moment to pause and breathe and notice the effect of that practice on the first side. So any sensations maybe of warmth or tingling that are present. And it's okay if nothing's obvious. And now when you're ready, second side, maybe when you inhale, if that feels good to link it to your breath, as you inhale, the knee can float up, and as you exhale, the knee can come into the chest. And then straighten the leg to any degree so that you can feel some sensation of sweet stretch on the back of the leg. And then painting circles on the ceiling or on the sky. So nothing too fast. And changing direction when you're ready. Maybe noticing what else in your body moves as you do this. What other parts of the body want to get involved in the movement? And then coming back to center to point and to flex and roll the ankle in any way. Continuing to breathe, letting the toes get involved. And noticing if you can bring some ease into your shoulders. And I'm reminded to say that because I felt that my shoulders were moving up to my ears. So just reminding us to invite ease anywhere we sense that it would be enjoyed. And then as you're ready, flexing the foot again and angling the foot and the knee out toward the side, away from the midline of your body. And if that feels okay, staying here for a couple of breaths, noticing that sensation. And if that sensation doesn't feel safe or good, just, coming back, it's okay. You can always come back to center. And allow your next breath to guide you in to the hip opening posture where the ankle crosses the other knee. And then the knee of the leg that's crossed over moves itself away from the shoulder, just with the strength of the muscles around that hip. And then moving gently side to side, noticing how the breath is moving here. And inviting you to dip into the breath anytime you want to, taking the lengths that feel right to you and the pacing that feels right to you. And also inviting you to let the breath happen as you move. And if it feels okay in your body to lift that foot from the ground, you can do that now. And noticing if there's any sense of wishing the sides of the body were responding the same way to a practice as you move it gently side to side. It's easy for the mind to start to compare and notice, and it does this automatically. And so we're bringing that light of curiosity and compassion and self-empathy to our practice today. And if you want to, making circles. You can feel the pelvic bowl rotating in a circle as you imagine the foot painting a circle on the sidewall to any degree. And then bringing as much curiosity as is available to you today to see what's up here, what's interesting here. And noticing the energies present. As you take your next exhalation, let the complex of the legs come back down, releasing the crossed leg, extending it if you wish, and then inviting it to float all the way to the ground, taking a full body stretch, breathing in and breathing out, letting the soles of both feet come to the ground and the arms to your sides, resituating your hips so you feel like you are at center. Taking one breath here in preparation for moving on to the next practice. Noticing the effect on this side of the body, the second side. And then as you're ready, you could either roll onto your side, or you could take the knees to the chest and rock and roll until you rock up to sitting. Whatever feels most appropriate. And coming into a seated shape that feels okay. There's no pain in the hips or in the knees. Noticing what it feels like to pull the legs in, and what's the energy of that? If there's any sensation of wishing your legs were a certain way or felt good in a certain position. And inviting the light of curiosity into that. And then if it feels okay in your body, straightening the legs out in sort of a wide angle and rolling the ankles a few times in both directions. And noticing the sensation of the legs as they roll in and roll out. And then flexing the feet, pressing through the heels. Breathe in and feel the activation energy. Breathe out and let the legs relax and feel that energy. And then from here, we'll move into standing, and you can do that any way you like, downward dog if that's available to you, or just standing up. I'll move through a downward dog with curiosity to see how that's feeling in my body today. Lots of interesting sensations in my calf muscles. And as you come to standing, notice what sensations are present for you. And when you're ready, just rolling up into your favorite Tadasana shape, your favorite mountain pose experience. Knowing that you have choice. Feet together is usually called equal standing pose, but you can call it mountain. Feet hip distance apart, a sort of traditional mountain. And then my favorite, the feet a little wider. wide mountain. And wiggling the fingers and toes here. And as you do, noticing what energy is present. I'm noticing I want all my body to kind of wiggle. So I'm inviting you now to bend your knees and roll your shoulders forward and up and straighten the legs and bring the arms back and down and bend the knees again. So sort of a full body bend and roll and stretch and release. And as you do that, bending down, rolling the shoulders forward and up, you're wiggling your toes and you're wiggling your fingers, maybe rolling your wrists and moving onto the inner side of your feet and then onto the outer side of your feet and letting the knees really bend to support that. And then noticing as you do this, what does your breath want to do? Does your breath want to be involved? So I'm noticing that when I do this bend and roll of the knees and shoulders, I want to breathe in when I stretch up tall. And I want to breathe out when I roll my shoulders back and down. Notice if that's present for you. And just do one more. And let your exhale out through your mouth. And now take a moment in this pause at mountain pose to notice what energies are present here. And what does the energy feel like? It's possible there aren't any words coming to you to describe that energy. Or maybe there's a sensation of sparkliness or a sensation of like blanketed warmth on the backs of the legs or sparkliness in the shoulders. And then as you're ready, letting there be a soft and gentle swaying side to side that will eventually turn into a little twist. So bending one knee, straightening the other, sweeping a little bit side to side and letting your arms get involved. So you're thinking, well, this isn't any yoga pose that I know. And that's okay. So we're really experimenting with the energy that's present in our body, whether we know it's there or not, it's there. So shining the light of our awareness on it and then making your sway and your twist a little bit bigger and then a little bit bigger just to the degree that feels right for you today. And then letting your gaze move away from the computer if it had been there. And as you twist, letting your gaze look all around your space. So not too fast, right? You don't want to make yourself dizzy by accident. Just see what's here for you. And if you want to, even lifting a heel off the ground or lifting the ball of the foot off the ground. And continuing to encourage your breath. And then if you want, making your arms bigger and taking them in a sweeping motion, like a rainbow. Remembering that the rainbow is a full circle, even though we just see, half of it. Breathing in as your arms come up, breathing out as your arms come down. And this is similar to some Qigong exercises of painting the rainbow. Maybe you want to paint your rainbow forward. So you can take your arms forward and then the other direction. And seeing how that feels in your body. Noticing, does your foot want to lift even all the way off the ground? Try that out to a little bit of a balancing. What happens when you do that? So we'll take 3 more rounds of breath here, you moving in the ways you wish. Maybe noticing and feeling at the same time. And then balancing your energy by settling back into center and inhaling, reaching the arms forward and up. It's like mountain breath. And exhale, bring the palms of the hands together and let them rest in front of your heart center. We'll take 3 or 4 breaths here. Noticing what this is like after all of that sweeping movement. It's possible that you have a sense that you are still moving. If it feels okay, lower your prayer hands so that your wrists are more in line with your your elbows. Notice if there's a sensation of sweet stretch there for your wrists. And notice your energy from your waist down. And if it feels okay, lift your toes and press your 4 corners of your feet into the ground, the balls of your feet and your heels. Maybe you sense an activation in your legs, and just maybe enjoy that if it feels okay. So there's this sense of grounding the energy of the body. And then relax the toes. And with your next inhalation from your waist up, imagine your energy lifting up. So your ribcage moves away from your hips, and the crown of your head moves away from your collarbones. And relax that so that there's not a sense of striving, but just a sense of being. When your next exhalation rolls along, I'm inviting you to let your hands keep moving down so that the palms of your hands move away from each other, all the way up to the tips of your fingers, and then releasing your arms to your sides, giving them a shake if you like, and then release to stillness. And from here, heel toe or hop your feet into the middle and shake out the legs, just integrating that experience and what that was like. And then we'll move into some warrior postures with movement. So hop in or step into your version of warrior number one. It doesn't matter which side you start with, we'll do both sides. So the feet, you're in a lunge, and the feet can be wider right to left, so you don't feel that you're on a balance beam. You have room, feeling stable because your feet are as wide as your hips, from right to left. And then let's start with the hands on the waist or the hips, or even down where the hip and thigh meet each other at the crease. Inhale here, and do that same expansion of energy we did in mountain pose. So if you're thinking of yourself at your center, as you inhale, letting your downward energy from your waist down move through your legs, feet, floor, and then your upward energy from your waist up, moving rib cage, chest, neck, crown of the head. So here, inhaling and expanding in both directions. You can do this with me if you like. I'm using my arms to describe, but this is a good practice to do actually. So having one fist on top of the other at your belly. Inhale, extend or expand in both directions. Exhale and bend the front knee, hands coming to the waist or hands coming to prayer posture. So you probably noticed if you were looking at the screen that my foot was scooting forward. So as soon as I bent my knee, I realized I wanted a wider stance. So take your time doing that for yourself as well. Breathing here. With your next exhalation, release your arms to your sides. And then we'll do a little bit of moving. So with your next inhalation, the arm that's on the side of your body in which your front leg is bent will do the moving. So with your next inhalation, lean forward in your torso and let your arm extend forward as if you are scooping energy. Raising up, and then as you exhale, straighten your front leg and let your arm come in to your heart center. Just filling up your heart energy. And doing that again. Inhale, bending the knee, reaching forward, reaching up. Exhale, the hand comes and brings the energy into your heart. One more time, inhale, reaching forward, scooping the energy up. Exhale, bringing the energy into heart center. Releasing your arm to your side, and then walking your feet together, shaking out if that feels appropriate. Coming to mountain pose. Breathing in and breathing out to notice sensations and qualities of energy. And then we'll do the other side. So coming into warrior one shape on the second side, make your adjustments right to left. And then let's do that expanding energy practice where we have one fist softly on top of the other at the belly. When you're ready to inhale, extend the energy in both directions, grounding through the legs and feet and extending everywhere else. And exhale, bending the front leg, hands coming to prayer posture, now readjusting your stance as needed. Or as wanted, actually, as wanted. Taking another breath here. And as you're here in the bent leg stance, you're welcome to do another extension practice. Hands at the belly, inhale, extend or expand, one going down, one going up, and coming back to heart center. And then allow the leg to straighten and bring your arms to your sides. And we'll do this scooping energy practice here on the second side. So whatever leg is in front, that arm on the same side will do the scooping. The other arm is at rest at your side. And I know for some of us, that feels just completely crazy. Like the arm isn't doing anything, it's just being there. Try that practice out with curiosity. What is that like? If you know that it's driving you crazy, you can have your hand on your waist. But just notice the difference. The arm resting at your side, even weird feeling, might be restful. And then notice when you put your hand on your hip, is there activation in the shoulder or in the side of the neck? And so notice that. And then make choices around that to what feels good for you. So here we go on the second side. Exhale completely. And then inhale, bend the front knee, reach forward, scooping energy. Reaching up, and exhale, straighten the leg and bring the energy down to heart center. So filling up your heart with energy. Inhale, scooping, lifting, and then exhale, offering that energy to yourself. Just offering it. You don't have to accept it. Inhale, reaching, scooping forward, collecting. Exhale, offering that energy to your heart. I'm not sure if that was 3, but I'm feeling like I want another one. Inhale, reaching, scooping, lifting. Exhale, offering and maybe receiving. And release your arm to your side. Walk the feet in, shake out, come back to mountain. I notice a huge amount of sensation on both sides, that whichever leg was in the back, a lot of sensation around the foot, ankle, and calf. And notice any energies in the upper body, around the shoulders, the chest, the heart, maybe even the back of the head. And then shaking out or dancing out or doing some painting rainbow and twisting out or rocking side to side. Just seeing what energies are here. How does it feel to be me right now, today? Settle back at mountain. Let's ground with that mountain breath. So again, as you get ready to breathe in, there might be this sense like, let's bend the knees, right? Bend the knees, scoop. We can scoop energy here. Inhale, reach up all the way, straight legs. There's this extension in the waist, so the rib cage and hips moving away from each other. Downward energy and upward energy. And exhale, we can bring hands to heart center, palms pressing together. And then all the way down, keep exhaling, let the palms separate. We get that beautiful stretch for our wrists and hands. And let's do that again. Bend the knees, scoop the energy, lifting, maybe receiving. Is this time we bring the exhale, we bring the hands down to heart center, one on top of the other, receiving if we want to. Last one, just like that. Inhale, bend the knees, reach forward, reach up. Exhale, offering that energy to the heart center, receiving if you wish. And then this time, same setup, scooping, bending, reaching. Inhale. Stay in this extended shape if that feels okay in your body. And continue to breathe here. So we're just allowing the front body to open. And noticing if we can keep some space between the back of the head and the back of the neck. And then coming back a little bit more toward center, so looking forward again. And then stretching the side body, reaching up and over to crescent moon. Doing whatever feels natural for your hands, interlacing the fingers or not. When you're ready to breathe in again, coming to center, exhaling up and over to the second side. And taking some breaths here. And I know people love triangle pose for this side stretch. But I'm just been loving crescent moon for the side stretch. And I'm aware it doesn't go all the way down like over the hip and the leg and everything, but this feels like a safe place for me, so that's why I stay. And when you're ready, coming back to center and letting the arms come down to your sides into mountain pose for 2 or 3 breaths of noticing. And you might be encouraged to move in a certain way. Like maybe your body sensations are encouraging you to do something. So notice if you want that, and if you do it. So maybe your body sensations are like, I want to do that again, or I would love a twist. So you're just feeling into what sensations your body is presenting to you, because your body's only way to talk to you is through sensation. And then you can be like, yeah, and respond to that in a way that is supportive for you. So 3 more breaths of noticing, feeling, and balancing. So the balancing aspect would be, what do you decide to do with your information that you gathered and you noticed and you felt? And maybe for some of us, it's just to stay. And there's no more movement right now. Last breath. And now making your way to your relaxation, coming to sitting. I'm going to walk back toward the computer here. You come back to sitting. As you do, notice if your body's asking for a certain movement, a certain yoga pose that you know and love. My body might want a forward bend or just like a curl up. So I'm going to bring my knees toward my chest and just do a hug here. So notice what your body's asking for as we transition from standing, active, into lying down, resting. So we're in this stopping point, this pausing point where we're seated. Taking a few breaths in whatever seated position feels right as far as balancing your energies in your body. Count yourself 5 more breaths, feeling free to change shape or to change sides if you're in a one-sided shape. Maybe 2 more breaths. This is the in-between time between active standing and lying down, resting. So as you move from your seated shape into lying down, let that still be part of your yoga practice. So your movement is maybe slow, and you notice that you're breathing. So you're still deeply in the practice of noticing, feeling, and balancing. So the way you'll set up yourself in Shavasana is very particular and unique to you and what you're noticing today. So as you notice and feel, choose the appropriate setup for relaxation that balances the energies in your body. So, perhaps traditional lying down on your back doesn't seem right today. So you're welcome to lie on your side with pillows and blankets propped between your head and arm or head and floor, or under your rib cage or between your knees or your ankles, And since you're practicing at home or in the privacy of your own space, you could totally be doing this on the couch, your Shavasana, or in bed, or in a recliner, which is a beautiful place for Shavasana. So as you settle in, take 2 or 3 deep breaths and allow those breaths to just simply be nourishing. Not needing to accomplish anything, just nourishing your body. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, taking in fresh oxygen. And breathing out, releasing whatever is not needed anymore. And then inviting you to transition from the energy of what might have felt like doing practice to the energy of being. We might say the energy of being the practice. The energy of being here and now. And one way of doing that is inviting the light of your awareness to notice what is present. Noticing the breath and its comings and goings. Breathing in and breathing out. And then noticing and feeling what parts of the body move as you breathe. Breathing in and breathing out. And noticing and feeling what sensations are present with those movements. What does it feel like for the belly to float and then to rest back down? Just breathing in and breathing out. Noticing what does it feel like to receive the gift of the breath. Experiencing that you don't have to do anything. The body breathes in for you, offering you life, and the body breathes out for you, offering you rest. Your body breathing for you and offering you life. Your body breathing for you and offering you rest. Life, rest. And as you notice and feel the experience of this gift, of your body breathing for you, the gift of life and the gift of rest, there might be glimmerings of gratitude here. And simply noticing where those glimmerings might be in your body. Noticing any amount of gratitude and knowing that simply the possibility of being grateful is enough. It doesn't have to be here. You don't have to feel grateful. In this space, there is nothing you need or have to do or be. Nearing the end of the book, the mole asks the boy, "What's your best discovery?" And the boy says, "That I'm enough as I am." And my greatest hope for all of us is that we find spaces like this in which we can discover, in which we can take the cover off of the fact, the truth that we are enough as we are. Remembering that compassionate light of honesty, the honesty of the boy's curiosity about how and why the swans look like they have it all together and perfect, and the horse's honesty that, there's probably some paddling going on under there. And allowing that compassionate honesty to shine its light here in this space. May our best discovery be that we are enough as we are. Letting your formal practice end here or continuing for a few more moments as you are, but offering yourself gratitude for creating this space for you to practice. Offering gratitude to all the people, services, circumstances that allowed you to practice today. May you be well, and may you discover and remember and feel that you are enough as you are.